Hello, Darklings! So I needed to take a break from coming up with my own video ideas, so I decided to do a brief Q&A video just out of the blue. This is not a thing I prefer to do, especially because people asking me questions and making me talk about me too much just gets a little bit weird. So I tried to keep this list relatively short. The first one on the list is favorite classic horror monster movie. That's really hard because I like so many of them. If I had to pick, I'd probably end up going with Nosferatu if I'm going for international. If I'm going for American, I would probably go with Bride of Frankenstein because that movie's just really, really well done. Yay, James Whale. The next question on here, which I've been asked way too many times and I deliberately don't answer it, which is, have you ever had any paranormal experiences? I'll put it as this is a complicated question that I'm choosing to not answer, and there's a reason I'm a paranoid freak. So, questions of that nature will be ignored now and forever. It's just a little bit easier for me. I'm kind of a dodgy person, in case you haven't guessed, and there's reasons, and that's something I'm politely declining to answer. So don't ask it again, please. The next question is, have I thought about dyeing my hair any other bright-ass color? So initially, when I decided to be a die-hard person and a manic panic junkie, I was like, okay, I'll just dye my hair a new color every few months as I see fit. And I did red for a little while. There are no real existing pictures anymore because most of the pictures were really, really horrible. And I did that for a few months, and then I dyed it blue. I just decided to pick blue. I don't know why. I just picked blue, and then I was like, okay, let's try this. And then, as it turns out, I liked it. I liked it when it was freshly dyed. I liked it when it was faded. And then, as it turns out, I'm super lazy. And changing my hair color, especially with long, dense hair, is not easy. So just bleaching my roots and dyeing the whole thing is a lot easier than changing it and less damaging. So I'm just going to keep the blue hair as long as I see fit. I don't really think I'm going to change it anytime soon. Besides, it's also a dark enough color, I guess. It goes with my wardrobe, so I don't really care. My opinion on posers in both goth subculture and other subcultures. Now, this is kind of an odd question because on the one hand, I'm a super judgmental person. On the other hand, there are plenty of people where I have this like little voice that says that they are a poser, but the thing is, it is not my call to pick on somebody based off of whether or not I think that they're an active part of the subculture or pretending to be. That's kind of odd phrasing. I don't really know how to phrase it better. Basically, on the one hand, I don't like posers. I don't like people that fake being in a subculture and demeans it for everybody who genuinely likes it. I hate that shit. But I also don't like elitist assholes that call people posers even if they aren't really. They just don't meet their expectations. So I don't really know how to properly answer this question. This is kind of an odd question, is what other types of art do you like? I don't really know precisely what art you're thinking I do like versus don't like. I like drawing and painting. I like film. I like music. I mean, that's art to me. That's all art to me. I don't really know what that means. Favorite female-fronted punk bands? This is kind of bad. I don't really listen to a lot of female-fronted any bands, and it's not because of lack of interest. It's just for some reason most of my bands just happen to have male vocalists. I don't know why. I don't really think about it as wrong or right. I usually go for some older school ones like Blondie and the Runaways, or for post-punk I also like the Slits and X-Ray Specs, but and Susie and the Banshees. But I don't really know any others. Bikini Kill's great. I've only listened to a couple of their songs, but I mean, all of them are different. They all have their charms. I just don't listen to them that much. So, I mean, I like them, but I don't have much of an opinion. Do I read graphic novels is an odd question. I've mentioned that I do. Not many, just a couple independent ones here and there. I mean, The Sandman, some Alan Moore stuff like V for Vendetta and From Hell. I don't like Watchmen though. The Crow, And most of the graphic novels I read, I guess, are sort of like one-shot comics. I don't really have time or energy to dedicate to whole series of comics, so I don't really read them that much. Uh, so I don't know. I guess The Crow is my favorite. I can always read that and just sit there and cry, I guess. That's a good one. And I get asked this question a lot too, and it's another one that I usually ignore, which is what my religion is or what my thoughts are on God. And again, this is kind of a complicated question I deliberately ignore. I was raised atheist, and when I was younger, I had a lot of contempt for anyone who did believe in a God, and now I don't care anymore. I just sort of like, if you believe in God, good for you. If that makes you feel better, good for you. That's not something that I need or want, so whatever. Although recent years, loosely pagan has sort of been what I go for, but again, not something I openly discuss, and I prefer if that was not asked again or asked for more specificity because I'm not going to provide it. This is kind of an oddly specific and oddly worded question, is what is the motivation behind my image and what is the desired effect? I don't really know exactly what that means. The motivation for how I dress is because it makes me feel better. When I pretended to be normal, I just felt miserable. So dressing how I feel or dressing based off of the things I have interest in makes me feel better. And I know that works for other people too. And I've just always worn black because I like being able to blend into the night. I don't like bright colors. They make me vaguely ill. So, I mean, there isn't really a motivation. I'm not trying to shock anybody deliberately. This just is fun for me. I don't give two fucks. I mean, this is just how I dress. I don't really think on it as deeply as other people seem to. I'm a character persona type. I like to be a different character every day. I guess that's about it. I'm not really trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes or anything like that. Now, this is also kind of a funny question. And what are your thoughts on existentialism? Considering the amount of existential crises I have had in my life, I think it's interesting. Uh, Plus, I've had a few friends that were like really into existentialism for a while. So I think it's very interesting as a philosophy. That and nihilism, I spent a lot of time studying nihilism, but just stuff that I skim through. I don't really care one way or the other. And then the last one that I put on this was, what are your thoughts on dystopian novels and what are some of your favorites? Now, I don't really read that many dystopian novels because they put my head in a funny place and I usually get more pissed off and angry than I usually am as a very angry person. But some of the best ones that I've read are Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451 and A Clockwork Orange. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep's really good, and 1984 has its merit, even though I wouldn't call it good exactly. I don't really read that many dystopian novels because they're overall fairly depressing. And I have enough problems. I don't want to really worry about how the future's going to fucking decay on me. Although Brave New World is always really good. And I do like quite a few dystopian-based films, which I wanted to do a list of at some point. So I hope that answers these questions that are all kind of strange. And I know I'm a little dodgy and don't really answer as well as some people would like, but that's the best you're going to get out of me. I don't know if I'll ever do another Q&A video. Being pried into is not my top priority, but sometimes I know people want to ask me questions because they find it genuinely helpful. Till next time, Darklings.